Marriage causes divorce. Is unconditional love real, or do women want value? This goes back to what I was saying before when we talk about like prostitution. I break it down into two different things. I break it down into validational sex versus transactional sex. So the validational side of of sex is like true desire, like natural, innate, burning desire. Thank you, Fresh. Lust, arousal, just sort of like that. She's going to fuck you no matter whether you make a lot of money, whether you have a yacht or a Lamborghini, doesn't matter, right? Versus the guy who has to qualify for it. It comes back to an old, like it's a maxim of the red pill, which is women will break rules for alphas and they will make rules for betas. So breaking the rules for the alpha is what you're saying is unconditional love. Unconditional love for alpha, sure. Does it actually, is unconditional love real though? Well, here's my take on love. Love is an emotion. So it's just like happiness. Is real happiness real? Is happiness real? No, it's not. It's just in the moment, right? You have to remember that emotions are what push us and motivate us to certain behaviors. So what does love motivate us to? To self-sacrifice, to altruism, to sacrifice, to I mean, you think about I'm thinking about it in terms of like the male mind, right? But it could be for women, it could be nurturing. When we think about, it's funny, is when we think about like the more noble or like virtuous aspects of like masculinity or femininity, they're all tied with the emotion that is love. And so when we talk about duty or respect or like even just respect among men, right? There's this sort of this mutual love between men, and not like in the sexual nature, but like in the sense that like I respect someone who has done something that is respectability. So there's sort of that appreciation is, I'm not saying it's exactly the same thing, but it's rooted in love, in the emotion of love. And even if that's just what an aspirational kind of thing, as opposed to like a different style or different type of love, right? But I think really what you want to get at is do women want value or do women want love? Okay, one is an emotion and one is a practical function there. Okay, so is unconditional love. I personally, you're asking me like my opinion of this. I would say I come to this conclusion is that there's no such thing as unconditional love. There is a condition under which you will fall out of love, even with your family members, even with the thing you love the most. There is some existing condition. It might be an impossibility. It might not be even in the realm of thinking about it, but there is something that is a condition that will break that. There's always a deal breaker. It doesn't matter what it is. But that shouldn't dissuade you from the emotion. It's just that if you're going to look at it in a pragmatic sense, love is always conditional because it's an emotion. There's some things that will trigger it and some things that won't. Do women want value? Yes, of course they want value. That's the practical aspect of it. So don't think that just because women want value that it invalidates the emotion or the feelings of love. They're both, in fact, if anything, they're both kind of like symbiotic.